Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the impact of former President Trump's acquittal on the stimulus negotiations. But first, I hope everyone had a happy and a fun Valentine's Day. I'll actually show you something that my son did for me. So check this out. My son did a piece of paper, sort of drew on a piece of paper, excuse me. And this is what my son actually drew for me. Super cute. These 5-year-olds are way smarter. I can tell you that the 5-year-olds today are way smarter than my time, and I say my time because I'm 42, but I feel like I'm 70. And I was a pretty dumb 5-year-old, I can tell you. But 5-year-olds today, boy oh boy, super smart. So let's just jump right in, everyone. First, as you know, former President Trump was acquitted, but not without some very scathing comments from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Boy, oh boy, I hope you had a chance to check out his comments. In case you haven't seen comments from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, I'll play a small clip of his rather extensive comments. He spoke for well over 15 minutes, but let me play you a small clip of what the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said about former President Trump. Let's roll the tape and hear what he had to say on the floor of the Senate the day the impeachment trial ended. Let's watch.
Fellow Americans beat and bloodied our own police. They stormed the Senate floor. They tried to hunt down the Speaker of the House. They built a gallows and chanted about murdering the Vice President. They did this because they'd been fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth. Because he was angry he'd lost an election. Former President Trump's actions preceded the riot were a disgraceful duty. The House accused the former president of, quote, incitement. That is a specific term from the criminal law. Let me just put that aside for a moment and reiterate something I said weeks ago. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it. The people who stormed this building believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president. And having that belief was a foreseeable consequence of the growing crescendo of false statements, conspiracy theories, and reckless hyperbole, which the defeated president kept shouting into the largest megaphone on planet Earth. The issue is not only on January 6th. It is not just his endorsement of remarks in which an associate urged, quote, trial by combat. It was also the entire manufactured atmosphere of looming catastrophe, the increasingly wild myths about a reverse landslide election that was somehow being stolen, some secret coup by our now president.
Is Trump still the de facto head of the Republican Party because he wasn't convicted? And if so, how does the party go ahead?
No, the party, his influence begins to decrease. And the party goes ahead by, we got to win elections. Now, we win elections by going to those folks who may vote Democrat or may vote Republican and convincing them to vote Republican. And we do that by showing that we put their interest above the interest of anything else except our Constitution, and that we're going to make their lives better, our country's future better. That's how we win ideas lead our party.
Yep, he said people fed wild falsehoods from the most powerful man on earth because he was angry. He lost an election, amongst many other things. Very, very strong comments from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Speaking of strong comments, folks, there have also been strong comments from conservative outlets, including the Wall Street Journal. On your screen, you'll see a headline from the Wall Street Journal, and the headline reads, Trump's non-vindication. He may run again, but he won't win another national election. I'll provide you with a link to this article in the description section below. But the thing that jumped out to me the most from this article, and by the way, folks, don't blame the messenger because I'm quoting the Wall Street Journal. Here's a quote from this piece. Mr. Trump may run again, but he won't win a national election. He lost re-election before the events on January 6th, and as president, his job approval never rose above 50%. He may go on a revenge campaign tour or run as a third-party candidate, but all he will accomplish is to divide the center-right and elect Democrats. The Republican Party's defeat in the 2 January 5th Georgia Senate runoff races proved that. The country is moving past the Trump presidency, and the Republicans will remain in the wilderness until it does too. Wow. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with these comments from the Wall Street Journal and what you thought of comments from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Folks, there's been a lot of criticism for Mitch McConnell saying, "Hey, we could have had the trial before the inauguration." And I get it, folks. I'm not trying to take sides here. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. Whenever I say anything remotely negative about former President Trump, I'm called a Democrat. And whenever I call out President Biden on something, I'm called a Republican. So guess what? I'm used to it. I'm totally okay with that. But here's something that's super interesting. If we remember the atmosphere before the inauguration, we all felt unsafe, or most of us felt unsafe anyway, because of what was going on, because of reports that had emerged at that time. So having the impeachment trial on the eve of the inauguration, gosh, who knows what would have happened. What we do know is that we had an uneventful period before, during, and after the inauguration, which we are all thankful for, because no one wants anyone to get hurt. But I'm not taking the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's side, but I'm saying that we have to put everything into perspective, because it's easy to say, hey, we could have had the trial before and now we had the trial after, and then this is the argument from the Senate Minority Leader. I get that, but there are always two sides to an argument. Speaking of two sides to an argument, folks, here's an article on your screen that was published by Fox, and the headline reads, "Here's how Trump's acquittal could affect Biden's stimulus checks," meaning the $1,400 stimulus checks. Basically, folks, what's going on is that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told reporters in the past couple of days that she hopes the stimulus would be approved by the end of February, as the March 14th expiration for the unemployment benefits is looming. Folks, here's the impact of former President Trump's acquittal. The House and the Senate can now focus exclusively on stimulus. In fact, they are doing that. Also, Congress, meaning the House and the Senate, is not in session this week. They are back in session next Monday. It is widely expected that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package will be passed in the House of Representatives next week. And according to a timeline projection from CNET, the earliest the $1,400 stimulus checks could be passed by Congress, meaning both the House and the Senate, is going to be the 26th of February. That is the earliest we can expect it to happen. And if President Biden signs the bill into law on the 1st of March, we can expect the third stimulus check, the direct deposits or the actual paper checks, to go out in the mail right around March 8th, and we can expect individuals to start getting them in the middle of March. So this is the earliest possible timeline that we can expect, because now the House and the Senate can start to focus exclusively on the stimulus. As a reminder, first we have a package or a proposal, which is the proposal, the $1.9 trillion proposal. That then becomes a bill which has to be passed by both the House and the Senate. And then when President Biden signs it, that's when it becomes law. So the projection I gave you is based on the earliest probability. It's based on the fastest things can happen, which would be the 1st of March, President Biden signs it. That would be the earliest possibility. Now, if we have extensive delays in the Senate and then the Senate makes revisions to the bill, then it goes back to the House. Remember, the House and the Senate have to pass the same version of the bill. So if the Senate makes changes, then it has to go back to the House, who has to pass it. And if all of this pushes back the passage of the bill through Congress to the 12th of March and President Biden signs it on or before the 14th of March, then we can expect the stimulus checks to start arriving at the end of March or the first week of April, because now Congress can finally focus. But, well, lo and behold, Congress is not in session this week. Thank you. I hope you learned something new. Please give me a like. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me personally. Let me know what you thought of comments from the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, and some pretty strong comments from Wall Street, the Wall Street Journal of all places. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. It makes me smile. It brings a smile to my face like this. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.